Hey, Sparkles Streaming or Diablo Alliance, it's me, Sparkles with us here, coming to a video in this video. I am doing the only video this week, which is turning Tensura characters into My Hero Academia OCs. So without further ado, let's roll intro and let's get in this video and let's go. Like and subscribe if you enjoy this video. Oh, anyone that can steal powers can eat their heart out. Oh. Well, sorry. The reason why I'm saying this is because, well, I've recently discovered an area, well, if you all remember correctly, the Boiling Isles I've talked about, where it's basically walled off from the rest of the world in like a pocket dimension. I found another area that's a lot more, how you say, expansive and a whole lot more powerful. It's brimming with more powers that I classify as magic. Let's just say that's more or less just a ability anyone there can use. It's more or less a quirk, hard to say. It's called an everlasting type quirk. These quirks can last for, well, forever when their user dies. And these are the 12 patrons of a city, of the most powerful city in that area. The nation is known as the Tempest Federation. And they each came to UA for a while. Sorry. I'm not going over their leader, because the guy's an utter powerhouse, and I would need to go over him by himself along with some more powerful people I know of. Coming in at rank number 3 of the strongest is someone known as Rimuru, whose hero name is MHA. Every person in this world, well, in this pocket dimension, has released multiple quirks. But at least most of these people have 2 to 3 each, and they cannot be stolen whatsoever. Much like how my power works. I don't really know the name or how it works right now. I just know it can't be stolen. But it also helps me with my analytic abilities a lot more. Quirks are Flare Lord, Flame Spirit Oni, and King of Blazing Sun, Amaterasu. As you can tell, he took his name from his skill, skills are quirks. But he took the last part of his quirk's name, Amaterasu, and put it as his hero name. He mostly uses this hero name when he's in the main part of the world, aka our world. And let's just say, Flame Spirit Oni makes it very, very, very hard to kill this guy. You can completely vaporize his physical body, and he will just come back later. Also, with this King of Blazing Sun, Amaterasu, it being on the par with an ultimate power, he can, has multiple barriers that are very hard to get through. Let's get to the next one, shall we? The second one I'm going over is coming at rank number 1. His name is Diablo. Hero name Azazel. Quirk Devil Lord and Temptation King Azazel. Devil Lord came upon him when he evolved. Originally he just had a simple quirk known as Demon. But with Demon it gave him a bunch of other abilities. But that Demon quirk evolved directly after he was born into the quirk known as Primordial Black Noir. He never had a name until Rimuru, his boss, gave him the name of Diablo. His quirk, Temptation King Azazel, can tempt pretty much anyone except if they have a strong willpower. The only person he can't really tempt in that world is Rimuru himself. And when I say Rimuru is a powerhouse, I mean it. Now, Devil Lord has 2 parts. Devil Lord, as in the race bit, and Devil Lord as in his title quirk. Title quirks, ultimate quirks, or different types of quirks. Like I said, there's multiple quirks types, but there's the standard 3 main. But then there's a 4th type that's known as a race change quirk. Ultimate quirks are pretty much powerful, they're more or less known as ultimate powers. But for Diablo, he's Devil Lord quirk. The race part of it allows him to change his body into any shape he wants. But he mostly uses this to summon giant pieces of demonic metal on one arm and sometimes black sharp fingers on the other. He said this is part of his true form. He never really shows his true form from what I've seen. Let's move on to the next one, shall we? Coming in at number 2 of the strongest, name is Zegion. Hero name, Mephisto. Quirks, Mist Lord, Divine Insect, Water Spirit. Insect, Illusion King, Mephisto. Now, due to his Divine Insect, Water Spirit Insect quirk, he has the ability to, due to him being part of the former race change people known as Insectars, he's evolved into his human form, but he's also evolved yet again into a divine insect, water spirit insect. But he more or less just gives him the ability to, negate pretty much any damage. Now, when I'm talking about these spirit things, it's talking about their race change a bit. All of them have one thing in common, and that's that fact that they cannot really be damaged by pretty much anything. And if you're able to, you're powerful. Your power exceeds their own. So it's a little scary, to be honest. His Illusion King Mephisto quirk allows him to, change reality in some ways. It's powerful enough to where he can literally dismantle someone with a sub part of it known as Dimension Ray. Allows him to completely and utterly vaporize pretty much anyone. Yeah, and for the record, everyone here was given their name by Tempest himself, by Rimuru. Mist Lord allows him to control the mist. It also helps him amplify his illusions, which are, trust me, already stupidly potent. And due to the insect ability, he has the ability to regenerate pretty much anything. But insect also because it gives him the exoskeleton. And he can manipulate his freaking exoskeleton to the point it is near impenetrable. I'm talking, there are some weaponry out there that are powered with artificial quirks, and there's different grades of them. Some of them are mythical grade, or world grade, or legendary grade, heroic grade, normal grade, stuff like that. World and mythical are on par with each other. Some are stronger than others. But here's the scary bit. He can shape his exoskeleton into any type of arm, any type of weapon he wants. And he can cut through mythical grade or world grade weaponry powered quirks like it's a hot knife through frickin' butter. So yeah, you can just let that sink in. Let's move on to the next one, shall we? Now for this next one, it is someone whose power and quirks are somewhat interesting. Her power, she has 3 like most others, but funny enough, she doesn't really have them like an ultimate one. She has a unique quirk. Unique quirks are pretty much more your common type quirks. But then there's some common quirks that are on par with... It's pretty much like they're one of a kind. Multiple people can have them, but each one is a little different from the other. Name coming in at... I forget her rank, but trust me, I believe it's number 9 in the patrons. Name, Shin'en. Hero name, Cook. Quirks, Warlord, which gives her enhanced physical strength, speed, Durability, Wicked Oni, which gives her pretty much all the other abilities. Pretty much ability to negate pretty much any damage. And Master Chef. And Master Chef is the quirk you really need to look out for when she uses it. For the record, the first two are mutant types. Well, second one's mutant type. And which is a race change quirk. The first one is a title quirk, which is something I will talk about later. And the last one is a emitter type quirk. Well, anyways, she also has her own sword granted her by Rimuru, which has evolved into her warlord's quirk that allows her to summon it pretty much anywhere she is at. His blade is known as the Hercules Edge, and it can cut through pretty much anything, that is including freaking quirk attacks. She can also absorb it into her actual blade to give it even more power, which is also transferred into her. She also has an ultimate move due to her warlord quirk called Ogre Rage or Ogre Rampage. I don't really know. They don't really come to this world this often, but trust me, they are powerful beyond belief. Now, to give you an idea how nasty Master Chef can be, take a prisoner and rip them apart, fillet their skin, remove their organs, splat them all over the wall, move their head somewhere else, pretty much just completely and utterly disorganize their body and make it as gory as possible. Yeah, the person will be dead on average, but that's for average people. Her with her Master Chef quirk, due to the fact that she's a terrible cook, which can make it taste like really good. Yeah, she can change how something is like. And she's actually done that to a few people for interrogation. And let's just say, the reason why it's like that is because of the bloody fact that she had her willpower empathize that this was their normal, true form. So they were kind of stuck like that. And to put it lightly, the strongest patron of them all, even was just surprised he couldn't really figure out how to revert them back to normal. He literally, some of the people with the strongest healing quirks I've ever seen said that they couldn't heal him. I managed to get that information before I, punched one in the face, because they said that Tempest was a stupid place and those monsters didn't deserve to live. They're called monsters because of their race change quirks. It's hereditary. Also, yeah, I nearly killed that person. I've killed a few people, but they've all deserved it. Now, back to Shin'en's quirk. Her Master Chef quirk was granted to her after she, died? It's quite not a good thing. She died, and she came back due to the fact that they used some barriers that kept their souls in place. So, yeah, Rimuru, using a new ultimate quirk he got when his quirk evolved into that of a demon slime, he gained a new quirk known as Demon Lord. This was a few years ago, for the record. Yeah, he gained the ability to revive the dead, which is one effect of the timeless quirk. Let's get to the next one, shall we? Now, for the next one, their race change quirk was pretty interesting. Their quirk caused them to turn into a dire wolf. They have an ability that works in tandem with someone else's that gives them more of a werewolf form, but it's more or less they both have control. But coming in at rank, give me 1 second. Oh yeah, coming in at number 10, on rank 10. Name, Ranga. Hero name, Ashtar. Hastur? I can't pronounce this one, but I'm just going to pronounce it Hastur. Quirk, Star-Lord, Divine Wolf, Wind Spirit Wolf, Stellar Windlord, Hastur. Yeah, his claws are sharp enough to also cut through at least heroic to low mythical grade Quirk powered armor and weaponry. They are really powerful, and due to him having the Stellar Windlord Hastur Quirk, he has the ability to, well, just by wagging his tail, he can cause tremendous, nasty tornadoes to sprout. And most of this time, he spends in his master's shadow, which allows him to constantly get stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. But that's because he's constantly absorbing his master's power. The aura he lets off. So you can just take a guess at how powerful he is right now. Yeah. He also has a few abilities like Death Storm. And he's also immortal, just like pretty much every single other frickin' person in this list I'm going over. So, yeah. They're all powerful and immortal. But they're only semi-immortal because they can all be killed by bloody Rimuru. But he won't do that unless they do something that goes against any of the rules he has set in place. And funny enough, Ranga got his name from, I believe, the second, or was it the first group of race change. I'm just going to refer to their quirks as monster quirks for now, because that's the easiest way, and because I just got a notification saying that they just changed the race change quirks that are hereditary into monster quirks. Average race change quirks are super rare, so yeah. And if you change someone into it, and it's hereditary, it passes down on the next person, that's going to be classified as a monster quirk. Still, I kind of hate that. But it's a lot easier, so sadly enough, I'm going to have to follow that. His monster quirk, when he got his name, he evolved. And he's on his final evolution now, from what I can tell. And right now, he's just powerful. Let's just get to the next one, shall we? Coming in on the next one is rank number 7, known as Kumara, hero name Bahamut, Quirks, Chimeric Lord, Fog Spirit, and Beast King Bahamut. This quirk was made and gifted to her, so it's technically classified as a ultimate gifted quirk, but they all function the same. So, yeah. And which was the Beast King Bahamut quirk. Chimeric Lord gives her the ability to, well, shapeshift her body or her full body into other monsters for a short period of time, which is somewhere for a few months to a few years, but she mostly goes for a few weeks because she uses this quirk for spy and reconnaissance missions. Her, how do you say, Beast King Bahamut quirk gives her the bloody ability to, how do you say this, control gravity and cause earthquakes, and that earthquake is usually caused by an ultimate move of hers known as Beast King Roar. So, yeah. And each of her tails can sprout into another creature. Only 8 of them, though. She needs 1 to keep her stuff alive, and it is physically impossible to remove it. No matter how hard you try, you can't remove it because it's attached to her spiritual body, so it's just about immovable. And Rimuru has said, sorry about that, but Rimuru has said that she has become one of the most beautiful girls that she's ever met. And she is still immensely powerful. Now, let's move on to the next one, shall we? Next one. Coming in at a rank of number 11, we have someone known, the patron known as Gabiru. Her name, Fate Twister, which actually, for once, doesn't actually come from any of his quirks. But funny enough, comes from the fact of the sub-powers, or sub-skills of one of his quirks. It was created from evolving, which was caused by one of Rimuru's artificially, well, weirdly enough, personally, artificially made quirks. It was caused by him giving his quirk a name. There was a very, very few sentient quirks, and he had one of them that he gave a name to, and it has the ability to evolve, which evolved into the Mephisto quirk. But it's not an artificial quirk in its own person. So, yeah. But anyways, I'll talk more about them later. The next time I go over these people. Quirks, Dragon Lord, which gives him the ability to turn into a smaller dragon, but also gives him the ability to enhance his strength, speed, durability, energy control, and just about anything. Race is Dragon Newt. Funny enough, he didn't. He kind of did evolve, but it didn't really change his race. It just more or less made his race a whole lot more powerful. But he also gained the immunity to pretty much any attack. And skill Master of Mind. This gives him the ability to resist pretty much any mental attack he can make. But also gives him the ability to, how do you say, control his own fate. Yeah, let's say he was being overpowered by a villain, which fair enough will rarely even happen now. He could twist the fate after triggering his ultimate gift, his ultimate quirk anyways. It would pretty much come out on top, with him coming out on top, instead of him being cornered by that person. So, yeah, Fate Twister makes pretty good amount of sense. And trust me when I say, it is scary what it can do. Just imagine it. He could hypothetically create new timelines. With us just realizing, not realizing, he does this. But I've managed to talk to Rimuru for a bit. And he said that his quirk more or less just allows him to travel back in time for a few minutes so it doesn't cause a paradox. But it more or less gives him the idea of what's going on, what's going to happen. It's like a foresight, past time. It's hard to explain, but hey, trust me, was that something that powerful? I would have a hard time explaining it too. Let's move on to the next one, shall we? Okay, now moving on to the next person. We have the rank number 12. He's the weakest out of the 12 patrons, but do not underestimate him, because his defenses are by far some of the strongest out of pretty much all the others. Name? Geld. Funny enough, his father used to have that name when he evolved into the Orc Lord. But Geld evolved into the Orc King. The difference being the fact that he doesn't lose his sanity. But due to his father, he has two quirks, two sub-quirks now, but he was given two quirks. Hero name, Beelzebub. Quirks, Barrier Lord, which gives him the stupid high defense. Like Iron Wall and pretty much something like Reflect. I don't really remember what it was, but trust me when I say it's powerful as frick. Now when I say that, it pretty much gives him the ability to reflect any hit. You can pretty much launch a nuclear strike on the guy, and he'll just bat it away like it was nothing. And there is a subordinate that has the power to use nuclear attacks. And he can tank them like there's no tomorrow. And moving on to his next one, Chaos or Spirit Board. These two, this one and his next one share two sub powers. They just make each other stronger. The two are Corrosion and Chaos Eater. Chaos Eater and Corrosion both cause rot, but Chaos Eater is more or less like a mindless like tendril with eyes and mouths. With eyes and a mouth. It can sprout forward as like a red haze. It can then slither or shoot straight forward. It's like a gaseous creature. And when it bites you, you can physically feel the pain, and it will literally cause your arm to rot. And with Corrosion, he can infuse this into a weapon or his hand, or shoot it at its own beam, which is weaker, but he prefers to infuse it into his support item, which is a mythical grade, non-quirk powered sword. Does have a quirk, but it's known as Quirk Channeler. It's more or less a piece of tech that's an artificially made quirk. But anyways, it allows him to channel his rot power into it, and can just the smallest cut from it can also cause you to start rotting. That's the power of Corrosion. And Gourmet King Beelzebub, it just gives him a whole lot boosts in power, but also it enhances his Chaos Eater and his Corrosion abilities even more. Funny enough, Rimuru said that it's a weaker version of an old ultimate power of his known as Beelzebub, Lord of Gluttony. So let's move on to the next one, shall we? Coming in at a rank of number 4. That's why we went from rank 12 to number 4, like that. We have someone known as Shin'en Tensura, Hero name Belial, Quirks Killer Lord, Demon Peer, and Death King Belial. Each of these are, trust me, very nasty, but with Death King Belial, Rimuru has said it is more like an evolved version of a unique skill of his that he had for a short amount of time that literally allowed him to harvest the souls of pretty much anyone. But it's now been incorporated into his ultimate power of Azeroth, and trust me when I say that he wasn't kidding about Death King being that powerful. She has the ability to emit a dark like black cloud from her hands, and can shoot it out like a tendril, or use it from a distance, or just stare at someone that has lost their will to fight or is weaker than her. She literally has the ability to say yea or nay, alive or dead. If you're all dead, if she says nay or you're dead, you are, well, dead. But she can also bring back the dead pretty easily. She can just about unalive you and revive you just like that. She is powerful. And trust me, it is quite scary. But Demon Peer Killer Lord just gives her more ability to see. Gives her a few abilities like see what kind of crime someone has committed, or their body count, if they've killed someone or not. It also allows her to see like what kind or why they killed. Was it for fun, or did they accidentally kill a person? It also helps her make more better decisions for a few things. So let's move on to the next one, shall we? The next one, going down a rank number 5, Ultima. That's her name. Her name, Mephisto Quirks. Pain Lord, which allows her to inflict stupid amounts of pain. It's also amplified by a few other of her abilities. Demon Peer, and Poisonous Death King Samuel. Samuel is the 6 wings that appear around her. These allow, but also her fingernails, they go from black to a purple, and Poisonous Death King Samuel gives her the ability to pretty much know of any type of poison in the world, and allows her to create it on the spot, but also realize what kind of poison is the best for each situation. And trust me, it is deadly effective. Demon Peer is just like the last one. It gives her a big boost in power. And trust me, it is very, very dangerous. She also has golden eyes, funny enough. And her fingertips, which are her nails, she can cause them to... They are razor sharp due to part of a mutation for her Demon Peer quirk. But trust me, it is very, very scary of what they can do. And for the record, due to the everlasting quirk effect, there's a few things called magicules. They're pretty much like the building blocks of quirks in that part of the world, in that pocket dimension. So there's that fact. But trust me when I say that her magicule count is through the roof, but not as high as Zigguan, Beimaru, or Diablo. So it's quite scary. Let's move on to the next one, shall we? If you remember correctly, when I was talking about Geld, you'll remember I mentioned one of the subordinates that could let off nuclear strikes. Yeah, coming in at rank number 3? Not number 3, number 6. About halfway up the list, we have someone whose name is Caria. She is very scary. Her name, Abaddon, Quirks, Menace Lord. Pretty much she is a menace, which trust me, is quite true. Demon Lord. Demon Peer. It's not supposed to be Demon Lord. Stupid typo. Well, anyways. And Annihilation King Abaddon. Her quirk allows her the ability to, well, like you guess, you most likely don't know. You can't really guess. More or less, it allows her to control nuclear strike magic. But nuclear strike's a whole lot easier. She can just casually let one off. But she has an ability, I believe that's called Total Annihilation or something. Pretty much her strongest ability, like, was it Gravity Collapse or something? Yeah, this one is dwarfed by it by a lot. It can erase your very soul from existence. It's a good thing that she says she only uses as a trump card in very, very hairy means. But trust me when I say that those hairy means can even then be quite trivial. But trust me when I say that she is good at what she can do, and she is an absolute unit when she needs to be. And trust me when I say that you do not want to piss her off. She is very powerful in her own right, so that should just tell you enough. Let's get on to the next one, shall we? Now for the final one we have that comes in at rank number 8, the Abaddon Aldaman. Her name, Necrocomic. It's hard to pronounce. Necronomicon. Quirks, Gehenna Lord, Death Spirit, Book of Magic, Necronomicon. It's very hard to pronounce, but it's pretty much like the Book of Necromancy. Very powerful abilities. And trust me when I say that And funny enough, he used to be, well, he's a skeleton now, and he's been decomposed. He was cursed with a cursed quirk that eventually evolved into the Death Spirit. Yeah, he was given a title quirk by Rimuru, the title quirk of Gehenna Lord. Don't really know what that is, but he was also given a ultimate power, which as a gift known as the Book of Magic Necronomicon. He pretty much added an ick to the end of that for his hero name, and most people don't really give him a sideways glance. He wears a crown because of the fact that he's actually referred to as the King of Undead in Tempest, and it makes a lot of sense. He literally has an army of undead at his side, but also 2 people that are his subordinates that I think I will talk about next time. But I don't really got a whole lot of information on any of these people, except for a few here and there. So, yeah, that's all I got for today. I hope you all enjoyed and liked today's video, but I'm sorry, this is all the time I got for today's video. Until next time, subscribe today to join the Spikers Army or Demon Alliance. Goodbye and peace out, everyone.